Hello, everyone, and welcome to Beyond the Mirror podcast that looks at the success, motivation behind our self-care, medical aesthetic treatments, as well as share extraordinary stories of ordinary people. Today, I have with me a wonderful guest, Tanya. Tanya has been a patient of Angels 12 Clinic since 2017, and she has an incredible story to share. It's very emotional, inspirational, and I think we can learn a lot from Tanya's journey. Tanya, welcome.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's absolute pleasure. Tanya, can you please introduce yourself and tell us about what you do?
Okay, well, my name is Tanya Louise. I am 49 now, so big birthday coming up soon. And I am a blogger. I am a content creator. I work in social media management, promotions and events. So lots of different things.
Very creative.
Yes,
So you work in
always keeping busy.
In very creative sector. Tanya, in 2017, when you first came to our clinic, you share with us your story.
Yes.
And when we spoke with you, we both agree that it's quite inspirational, relate to many people because so many people affected by cancer, and you came out on the other side, but not just once, but twice. Can you please tell us how did it happen?
Well, it was 2016 when I was first diagnosed. I was always sort of very, I'm going to say, sort of flat-chested almost. So I never was one of those people that thought there would ever be any issue with breast cancer, anything like that. So I wasn't checking, I have to admit, and everybody should. But literally one day I came home from work, I itched, and I just thought, oh, that doesn't feel right. I pressed a little bit harder, and that's how I luckily found the lump. And that was the first diagnosis. Something just told me something wasn't right. I did go to the GP within, well, it was a Saturday I found it. I went on the Monday, and they were sort of, oh, you know, you're quite young, it's probably nothing, but we will get you seen. I think they have to have a 2-week turnaround. And pretty much as soon as I had the tests, the initial ultrasound and mammogram, it was confirmed that it was cancer.
And what treatment did you have at that stage?
At that stage, I went through complete mastectomy, reconstruction, all at the same time, and then chemotherapy.
And when did the cancer came back?
3 years later, so 2019, they said to me, oh, there's only a small chance that it could come back because you've gone through the mastectomy, you've had chemotherapy. And then I just thought one day, I thought, oh, my bra seems to be digging in me a little bit. And again, I sort of felt around that area and I thought, no, it can't be. And there was another lump. And I contacted the hospital and they said, well, try not to worry, it's probably just scar tissue. But again, we'll have a look at it. And again, on the ultrasound, it was pretty much there and then confirmed that it was cancer. It had found a little area to come back at the side of the implant. So yeah, very unlucky, but lucky that I caught it sort of early on again.
And did you needed to have another surgery?
Yes, this time they removed the tumour. They removed some lymph nodes to test those to see if it had spread anywhere. It had gone into one of them. There was micro metastases, and because of that, I had to have a full lymph node clearance on that side. They did another reconstruction. I went through chemotherapy again and radiotherapy, and I'm still on ongoing hormone therapy in tablet form and injection because my cancer was hormone receptive. So basically, within your woman's cycle, that hormone, every time you went through that cycle, was trying to bring the cancer back almost.
And so it has been now 5 years since you have been clear, is it right?
4 and a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, they always say 5 years is a good milestone, so
Yeah. Well,
I'm not.
let's just hope that,
Yes.
that it's all very positive for you.
Yeah.
So I remember when first time you came to our clinic in 2017, so you were feeling quite low about the whole situation. So can you please explain a little bit what was your motivation, why you decided to book initial consultation? What was a driving factor behind that?
I think when you get to 40, or personally when I got to 40, that was when I sort of started to notice more the signs of aging anyway. Then when you go through chemotherapy, it affects your whole body. You know,
Yes, of
it's
course.
draining, you lose your hair, and so you go through all this, and then you feel like you've lost your femininity as well. And I think when I came out the other side of treatment, I just didn't feel like me anymore, because I think the signs are telling what you've gone through.
And how did the treatment made you feel? Did it made you feel better about yourself? Did it boost your confidence?
The treatment that I had with yourselves definitely, made me feel more like me. When I look at pictures of me, I almost look at before cancer and after cancer. You sometimes look at before and after pictures of treatment, and then after treatment as well. So there's almost like 3 stages. There's the me as was, that just seems like such a long time ago. And there's the me that's come through cancer, looking okay, but tired and not great.
yourself.
Yeah. And then there's the me after the treatments, where you can see that I am getting myself back as well.
Well, I remember because, as you know, as you've been our patient, you know that it's a journey, and we regularly see you, we monitor how the treatment works, we do the right recommendation at the right time to achieve the result, not starting again from scratch. And then was this moment when we were getting in touch with you, and it wasn't a good news, and we all were very worried and hoping that everything will end up as positive as it did for you. So, and we haven't seen you for a couple of years. And then you came back to us, which was in 2022.
Yeah.
So, and we needed to start again from scratch. So would you say was any difference between your first and second treatment? Would you say that one was better than the other? You have had a different emotion around it?
I think the second time I knew more about what I wanted to achieve.
Okay.
Obviously, I also trusted you more, because I know that you know what you're doing. I think some people go in with sort of unrealistic expectations that they're going to go in and come out like Kim Kardashian, but I know that you can look at the bone structure and you will know what's achievable, and how achievable that is, with what amount of treatment. And so I put my total faith in you and just say, what do you think I need, kind of thing.
Thank you.
And so, the second time I was a lot more confident in that the end result would be me again, I think. Yeah.
And you shared your journey and your story with some media as well.
Yes.
So would you say that putting the stories out there can help other people who are in a very similar situation like you?
Absolutely. I mean, if my story sort of helped one person, it saved a life. And I constantly post on my social media and things about the importance of checking yourself and acting quickly, because it's not forced to be cancer, but if it is, not waiting could be the difference literally between life and death, or how treatable it is, sort of how invasive the treatment is. So yeah, just keep checking, and yeah.
And I would say emotionally, I couldn't even imagine. It must be extremely hard to go through this process. But you seems came back from it like very strong, positive, still this bubbly person. How do you do that?
I think a certain part of it is just your survival instinct will kick in, because there are days when you're going through chemotherapy and you literally don't want to get out of bed. And I had sort of my mum even come in to help me. But just look forward to small things, take each day at a time, each stage of your diagnosis, treatment, procedures. Just go from one to the other and try not to push yourself too much, I think, is the answer. But you've got to kind of think, when you do get through it, to think that you have been given this second chance, third chance, and do with the things that, you know, you've always wanted to do, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. You know, we keep putting things off, and, you know, it can happen to anyone.
And I think that is a very great point, that you know that you have been given this second chance, so you probably live your life in a different way than you did before. So what you started to do differently?
I mean, I am up and down. I must admit, some days you've always got this sort of dark cloud hanging over you, thinking, is it going to come back? When's it going to come back? It's always there, but you have to try and concentrate on the positives as well. So I do sort of try and think about things, you know, and do things that I wouldn't necessarily have done before. And like looking after myself, you know, having the treatment and things, I just think I want to feel good about myself.
Do things for yourself most of all?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you also mentioned that you have had some days when you have had your mom come around and help. So who were those people who were standing by your side at these difficult times, and how did it help you to go through this process?
Yeah, close family. I had probably one friend at the time that I've had since school that stayed in touch. I think people don't know what to say necessarily, you know, especially at the beginning. They try and tell you that it's going to be okay, but nobody knows, you know. But I think you've got to try and let people help you. It's hard to, you know.
No, I understand. Sometimes accepting help could be more difficult than actually giving help. In terms of your volunteering work, and you do a lot of work which increase people awareness about breast cancer, and I think your blog has a lot of relative posts. Do you think it helps you as well to move forward, to kind of putting it out there?
Yeah, I think it does. I think writing and putting things into words kind of helps you process it almost. Because you often have things sort of going round and round in your head. But then when you try and put them into words, so into a blog post, something like that, it does help you gain that clarity.
And what would be your recommendation for the ladies out there who also probably walking the same path? And they also feel that they drain, they don't look themselves, they age, that disease left a mark on their face. Do you think that having some cosmetic work, and I wouldn't say it's not necessarily cosmetic because impact is much greater than just improving appearance, but having some help with skin treatments, with medical aesthetic treatments, is it worth considering? Is it giving a good impact on your day-to-day life?
Yeah, it definitely gets your confidence, or some of your confidence back. I went to Maggie's quite a lot when I was having treatment and a little bit after, and they do a session called Look Good, Feel Better, where they sort of help you with makeup and things to help you feel more like yourself. So it is acknowledged that, you know, how you feel, how you look affects how you think inside. If you feel better about yourself, it gives you that confidence, that fight, I think, to carry on.
And you definitely have a fight in you.
Oh, I keep trying.
So do you have any dreams for the future? So what is your next step? So at the moment you're doing a lot of work around your blog, around social media. So what is the main goal for you? What do you think is a dream?
Long term, you know, I don't know. Without sounding morbid, I don't try and think way ahead. As long as I'm happy now, I mean, ideally, when it gets to that age, sort of do less work, live by the sea kind of thing, just live happily and healthily, I think.
Well, that is, I think, very reasonable and realistic one. Well, Tanya, thank you very much for sharing all this information and sharing your journey and sharing your story. But if people might have more questions to you, or they might want to find out about what you do, read your blog, where they can find more information about you.
Yeah. So my blog is tanyalouise.net, or probably Instagram is probably another place where I put a lot of information, and that's at Real Tanya Louise.
And just at the very end, I could not ask this question. So do you have any reservation, probably related to your facial appearance and treatments towards your big birthday?
Oh, no, I'd bring it on. I just know, I'm always thinking what else I would have. Yeah, no, I'm quite happy to just keep having treatments, because I think we live in a world where we're still very much judged on how we look rather than what's inside. And I think if you do feel better about how you look, that it also comes from within as well. It's that confidence.
Absolutely. And I do think that it's very, very important to take care about your look, because I think that reflects how you are with many things. Because if you don't care about your appearance, it's very, I couldn't understand how you can then care about others, because you need to demonstrate, and I don't mean that you need to have treatments. So that could start with just, you know, doing your hair nicely, having a nice makeup, like dress up tidy. And if you want to take it one step further, why not? As long as it is with a very reasonable means and make you happy, you will make people around you feel happier.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much, Tanya.
Oh, you're
it has
welcome.
been a very pleasure to have you.
Oh, thank you.